Hello, listeners. Welcome to another episode of All Consuming Podcast. Before we get started, I want to thank some of our patrons that are at that certain tier where we got to thank them every week. So special shout out to Trey, Adam, Daniel, Heavy Metal Prophet, I Did It For The Mug, and Peter. And if you are a patron, just as a reminder, there is a second podcast we have up on Spotify only for patrons, where we upload all of our bonus content and all of these episodes that are guaranteed to be ad-free. And on this episode, Tyler wanted to interview me and three guys that I went to Furnace Fest with. We talk about some of our favorite moments, shows, and just our overall experience of Furnace Fest 2023. Since he didn't get to go, it's kind of like a 4 versus 1 interview style. So with that, let's jump in.
All right, so for those that don't know, Gary and a few other guys that are here, all from Arkansas, got to go to Furnace Fest, and they left me behind. And today,
kicked you out of the van.
And today, what we're going to talk about is their experience, and they're going to try to just tell me how great Furnace Fest was, so I can go tonight and just cry myself to sleep. That's kind of what I think the goal of tonight is. Is that correct?
Yeah, you okay. In tears. Got it.
All right. So we do have some new guests on here today. You got Gary, and you know Gary's voice, right? He's right there. Say hi, Gary. What's up?
Hi, Gary. What's up?
And who else do we got on here? Can you guys introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'll go first since I'm in the top
there
on
it
the
is.
Screen. Yeah, I'm Bobby. I don't know, 34, male.
Caucasian.
About 200 pounds. I enjoy impending doom and long walks on the beach.
Oh, man. See, that was more. I was just expecting a name, but dang. Okay, cool. Who else do we got?
Yeah, I'm Tim, and I'm living in Arkansas as well, and I like August Burns Red. They weren't there though, so that was a bummer. No.
Yeah, they were there the first year.
They're gonna be here in Arkansas in November though, so
nice.
I'm gonna go do that. And I weigh 180 pounds.
Why don't you brag about it, Tim?
Yeah, jeez, man.
He's also like 6'5".
True.
Trying to bulk a little bit. Yeah, beaches are nice. I like cool. to walk on them too. Yeah.
Nice. And last but not least, we have
Cecil.
Cecil.
Yeah. So I'm Cecil. I'm also from Arkansas. I was the driver for this trip, so they got to sit and watch movies while I drove us all the way from Arkansas.
We watched one movie.
One movie.
Yeah, I watched about 10 minutes of said movie.
Yeah. I am the depressed one of the group because my favorite band of all time is Extol.
Oh.
Who canceled the day of the festival. So.
Oh, yeah.
Dang. It was a hard day.
Kind of. So you're the driver. This kind of leads to my other question. Like, what were the events leading up to you three from Arkansas letting a stranger from Washington ride 8 hours with you to Furnace Fest? Like, how did that thing go down?
It was a little bit of desperation on my part.
On your part?
I suppose. Because, well, Gary was giving off some vibes of like, I don't know if I'm going to do it. Like, the flights are expensive and yada, yada, yada. Which they were and are. Right. However, I gave the suggestion, hey, fly into Bentonville. And having known Gary from when I lived in Washington, obviously, I wanted him to come to Furnace Fest with us. So, yeah, it was my fault. That's how it happened.
Well, and I went last year. I was at Furnace Fest 2022, and I had taken my wife with me, but we just had a kid this February, and she didn't want to take a 7-month-old to Furnace Fest.
Right.
So I had already bought a ticket. I'd already booked a hotel room, and I basically begged, borrowed, and stole some friends to come fill a room in a van so we could go. So it actually worked out really well, I think.
Sweet. So you didn't have to like do some sort of questionnaire. You guys were just down with whatever Tim said. He's like, yeah, this guy's cool. You guys just accepted that?
They interviewed me for a while.
Did they?
I was put on a group text and.
Okay, that makes him legitimate right away.
It does.
And Bobby actually, had already
I've listened.
Known...
Yeah, I've listened to the podcast for.
Oh, sweet.
I don't know, since its inception.
Oh, wow. So you knew him. You knew him through the podcast.
But you never reached out and said, "Hey, it's nice to meet you. You guys do awesome. We like your podcast." You're just like quietly listening, never reaching out.
Do. I'm a lurker. Yeah.
And so 8 hours together driving. No, it wasn't that bad. I'm sure it flew by. You guys just talked about X-Stol and everything else, right? Like.
Yeah. I mean, it was a smooth trip outside of having to take 450 pee breaks.
Yeah.
It was only like every 2 hours. Yeah.
Right.
So there's one more person who came with us who's not here.
Oh, okay.
And that's Tyler.
Hey.
Not you.
Oh, okay.
Different Tyler.
Different
Gotcha.
Tyler. But yeah, he was there too. Yeah, I almost didn't go this year because I couldn't get anyone from Washington to go with me. And Tim's like, I'm thinking about going. And I was like, well, maybe. And he's like, let's get a room together. You can fly here. And I was like, okay, I'm going. Easily sold.
Worth.
All right. So you guys started in Bentonville, Arkansas, home of Walmart, and went all the way to Alabama for Furnace Fest. And absolute, like, this is not your first time, right? Any of you guys. Oh, Tim, this might be your first Furnace Fest.
And
right?
Bobby, right?
Bobby.
Yeah, this is my first time. Yeah.
Really? Okay. So I want to talk to both of you guys first. So me personally, like when I see like the Furnace Fest lineups the last couple years, it feels like it is the show, right? Like for the scene of music that I love, like I have the flyer right here and I circled every single show that I like to see and a ton of it circled, right? So what was it like your first time going to Furnace Fest? Bobby, let's start with you.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, like, obviously, like, probably most of the listeners, I grew up listening to this kind of music, but I grew up in a small town in Colorado, up in the mountains, and, I had to drive to Colorado Springs or Pueblo or Denver to go see any shows. So this was a lot of bands that I thought that I would never get to see, or I'd never get to see again. Like, Project 86 and With Blood Comes Cleansing, Haste the Day. Like, I never, ever, ever thought I'd get to see When Everything Falls played live.
Yeah, dude.
With Jimmy, nonetheless.
Jeez.
So it was pretty cathartic.
And I think I feel like that's what a lot of people say. It's like, I have to go because this reunion that these bands are doing, right? And this was the year before too, like, you're never going to see it again, most likely. They might do some regional shows around or whatever, but like, that's it. They're reuniting for Furnace Fest,
Yeah.
Tim, what were your first thoughts and just like the overall thoughts on the festival?
So my philosophy kind of going into it was similar to my philosophy in playing games. But I'm
see how far you can fall.
Don't get shot.
I'm very much so a social gamer and social music listener, I suppose. So really, I think the most exciting band to me going in was Norma Jean and somewhat comically Relient K, because it's hardcore, metalcore, everybody else, and then Relient K, and it's like woohoo, punk-ish kind of, and so going into it, that was I had kind of low expectations and was just in it for the social gathering and get together of kind of two worlds colliding, my Arkansas friends and my Washingtonian friends. So, it was relatively low expectations in terms of bands that I was wanting to see. But the bands that I got to see, like Plea for Purging and Haste the Day, bands that I never really listened to prior, like I was blown away, and it made it worth it tenfold. So yeah, it was awesome.
Plus all those smash burgers, right?
Oh man.
Oh, the bad luck burgers.
I can't even think about them honestly, because it kind of makes me
setting records.
So they were good, or they were not good?
They were so good, but if you have too much of a good thing, it could,
and that's Andy from A Plea for Purging's Burgers, right?
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah, and they're so good. They threw them out during his show. We can talk about more of that stuff. But yeah, they threw out.
Excuse me?
They threw out his burgers
Okay,
into the crowd during the show.
Dang.
It was amazing. I almost caught
the part
two
of
of
the
them.
story. Yeah, the part of the story is missing here though is Tim and Tyler, the other guy on the trip. Between the two of them, I think they ate like 27 smash burgers. Like,
Are we talking like sliders? Are we talking sliders?
Or burgers.
Full on double
patty,
smash
quarter
burgers.
pounder.
Big boys.
And he said he was 180 pounds.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
Dang, dude, that's cool.
A little bit of an
I'm
exaggeration.
over exaggerating. I'm lying.
Okay.
No,
It was a lot of burgers.
not by much. It was a lot.
Not by
That's
much,
awesome.
It was, it was a lot.
Okay, so Cecil and Gary, this is your second or more. I don't know about Cecil time going. Like, what brings you back? Like comparing the festivals you've been to before, last year to this year. Like, why do you keep going back to Furnace Fest? Cecil, you started.
So for me, it's my second year. I didn't get to go to 21. I had originally bought tickets to 21, and then I wound up on a work trip and had to sell my tickets because I was going to be out on the East Coast for work again. So I was really disappointed. 2021 sounded like the lineup for 21 was like my dream come true. Yeah. 2022 was great. I loved it. But I've been going to Christian rock festivals or metal festivals my whole life. I've been to Cornerstone 3 times. I used to go to a big festival up in South Dakota all the time. It turns out through conversation, Bobby and I were at one of the same festivals in South Dakota at one point in our lives before we ever even knew one another. So I grew up around shows and metal my whole life. And so you hear a lot of people talk about Furnace Fest and the community that it brings together, and it's weird. It's like my wife is a top 40 music listener. Like,
sure.
That's the worst thing about my wife. So she listens to top 40 all the time, and I give her grief about it all the time because it's terrible. So last year for 2022, I took my wife to a metal festival, right? And she's nervous and like, what are you doing to me?
They're gonna stab us.
Right. She's terrified the whole time. And we come out of that festival, and she's like, that was incredible. That was great. And so if you've never been to something like Furnace Fest, or at least the Furnace Fest crowd, I'll say it's different from some festivals, but it's a really fun environment. You see young families, kids all over the place at Furnace Fest. It's a really different vibe than what a lot of places deal with and see. So it's just really cool. And so she didn't go this year, but we've already bought her ticket for 2024. Like, she's getting more into that form of music. So it's just like helping me fight a good cause of less top 40 in my household. So it's great.
Is your wife a Swiftie?
No.
Oh, man.
Luckily, no. She's more like 2000s R&B top 40 type person.
That's actually sick.
Yeah, not really.
I ask about the Swiftie because I myself am a Swiftie. So
yeah, no, not really.
The band I've seen the most is August Burns Red. The next artist, Taylor Swift. So I mean, that's just kind of where I chill, you know.
And the cost difference between the two, we won't get into. But
yeah, it's brutal. All right. That's exciting. Gary, what about you, man? Like, I know you were so stoked, and we did the episode last year on Furnace Fest with the guys you went with, and you went again, and I know there was like some, like Tim said, kind of like, I don't know if I'm gonna go. It's super expensive, but you dialed it in, and you went again. So,
sure did.
What are your thoughts on that, man?
Well, so the last year when I went, I wasn't gonna go because it's so expensive. But when Blindside was announced, and like they're like one of my favorite bands from when I was a kid, and they were gonna play Silence, my favorite album, from front to back, nonstop, and it's like they're like, we might not ever come back to the States again, who knows? And I was like, I have to go, I have to.
Right.
So because I dunked my toes and I went and I loved it, this year I was just like, well, I guess I'm going again. But there was a few bands this time that really made me want to go again. And I'm sure we'll talk about them. Yeah. But and I think this year I found it more enjoyable. I don't know if it was the shows themselves, But like my first year, I was just so stressed, and like I had to find all those stupid Obi strips. I wanted to get all the vinyl, and like I didn't know where everything was, and like I didn't want to miss a show, and like I had like timers on my watch set off. It's like this band starts at this time, this band starts, and I was so worried. And this time I just went in carrying way less, and like these are the ones I need to see, and then the rest I'm just kind of like I'll be in that area when they play, you know. So I think I just had more fun and it was more relaxing. But, you know, and there's, you know, a group of guys. That was a lot of fun. Last year was just me and Bobby, and we would run into a couple people from Discord and like maybe go to a show together with another group. But I felt like we were always a mob wherever we went. But that was pretty fun.
That's awesome. Let's talk about the show. Let's dive in. I've got the flyer here. I've got my circle stuff. I've got some stuff I want to talk about. I want to hear from you guys, right? Like, I mean, cheeseburger details that's what I need. I need that in my life.
Legit.
So, starting with Friday. Okay, here's what I got. Like, I mean, I don't know for me, right? Like, I think the band I'd want to see the most is Haste today, right? On Sunday. But like Friday and Saturday, I don't know which one would be my favorite day because I've got so much circled here. But starting with Friday, we got MXPX, Amberlin, Relient K, Hatebreed, Norma Jean, Gideon, The Undertaking, Project 86, With Blood Comes Cleansing, and money and a lot more, right? Like for me, if I'm there, I got to see our boys in The Undertaking. So I really hope that you guys at least, I know there was like some schedule stuff going on, but I really hope you guys got to check out The Undertaking. Did you?
We did.
Absolutely.
Yeah, some of it.
They were
okay. So
they were.
Bobby, tell me about that.
So they were honestly outside of like death metal and like I don't know specific metalcore, like hardcore and hardcore influence, like Comeback Kid and Take It Back, and now The Undertaking. I love that. So they were for me like a new band. And then getting to like hang out with Austin and talk to him and talk to the band, like super cool dudes, and they put on a heck of a live show.
Yeah, I haven't seen them. Gary's seen them now. What, twice, 3 times?
3.
I haven't had the chance, but I see these videos, man. I love their music, and I see these live videos, and they are just full of energy, like crazy. Yeah. So, you know, kind of the Chariot-esque, you know, in that sense. I don't know if you guys are Chariot guys, but similar to that. So that's cool. Other bands, like for me, big With Blood Comes Cleansing, and that was like one of those where I saw they were getting back together for this. I was like, I am so sad I can't go. That's a big one for me. Obviously Norma Jean, but
so I'm gonna rewind a little. The Undertaking, we only got to see like 3 songs, right? Yeah. Because they started at 12 on the main stage, and then With Blood Comes Cleansing started at 12:10, and so at 12:10 we started walking away. But for those 3 songs, man, they did so good, and they like took over that main stage. And you'd think that I was nervous for them and worried for them, right? Like they're our buddies, they're on our Discord server, and
it's a big stage.
Like,
it's a big deal.
Yeah, what if only like 30 people come and like, but man, right when they started, like people just flooded, and there was probably hundreds, like maybe 500 people by the time we were walking away.
Dude, that's
and so
sick.
Tons of people saw them, and David Bunsen came out from the Showdown.
Yeah.
And like did some parts of their songs, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And it's like I have to walk away from this, like and it was really hard, like just to turn and walk backwards and watch them as they get smaller and you're going to another stage. But yeah, so we moved to With Blood Comes Cleansing. I don't know if any of us stayed
for The Undertaking.
I don't think so. No, everyone's shaking their head now.
Okay, so you guys moved to With Blood Comes Cleansing, and how is that? I got to hear about this because I mean this is one of those reunion bands.
They were so good.
That's famous for. They're good.
They were so good. I haven't listened to them since I was in high school, which was a long time ago. And I'd never got to see them live, but man, like they put on a heck of a show, and the crowd really made it too, because people mobbed the stage, and ended up pulling the mic cord out of the mic, so he didn't even have like vocals for a little bit, and it was just epic.
That's cool.
And they sounded great too. Like you wouldn't think of them as a band that hadn't really played in 10 years, like 10, 15 years of not playing shows, but they sounded like they had been just finishing up a tour. Like they sounded great. We went and talked to them quite a bit after their set, like at their merch booth, because they were hanging out, right? Mm-hmm. And I think Bobby and I both wound up with shirts and some merch from those guys. Like, it was really cool to see them back at it. And now they're playing like one more show in a couple of weeks here in Georgia. And so it's like, man, outside of that, they talked about like we're going to release some new songs every once in a while as we have free time, but this is probably about as much as we're gonna do. Like it's interesting.
I remember when we walked up on With Blood's Cleansing, just being really confused because for some reason I thought we were watching The Showdown. I don't even know who The Showdown is, but Gary had told me that The Showdown. This is just like my state of mind, like most of the time that we were
if
there.
Dave's listening.
It's like I don't really know who we're listening to. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well. Oh yeah. No. Great. I'm great band With Blood Cleansing, but I never listened to them before, and I texted my wife that we were watching The Showdown, and it wasn't The Showdown. And then I got The Showdown mixed up with Showbread. And so, but I was enjoying myself. I was.
And then MXPX sang about the punk rock show. You were just so confused.
Dude, that's so funny.
But then came Project 86, and that was killer. That was so.
Did you at least know Project 86 though?
Yeah, the last song they played, I knew that one.
What was the last song?
The Spy Hunter.
You gotta tell me the last one.
Well, Spy Hunter.
Spy Hunter.
Dude,
One last disguise.
A good song.
That's awesome. How was their new stuff? Did Project 86 play? I'm sure their new stuff, right? Like,
a couple songs from
I think
Omni
they played
Part
3
1.
songs off the new album.
Yeah,
They played 2 off of part 1, and then they played a new track that
from Part
no
2.
one's heard.
Yeah.
heavy.
Yes.
Yeah, very.
Very, very heavy.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've seen Project 86 live once, and they're phenomenal. So, and this was in like a dive bar, so I can't imagine with a bunch of people around you that all know the songs singing. It just had to be awesome.
It was pretty
awesome.
sweet.
Yeah, it was cool to hear him do his like new scream on old songs.
Yeah.
Like, just to hear him doing like Me Against Me, like with his other kind of, instead of like his like normal talk shout thing, doing his deathcore growl shout thing. But yeah, that was good. I've seen Project 86 probably the most out of any band because they seem to all through college come through Spokane all the time, and they'd be there with like, I saw him with Disciple, I've seen them with Brian Head Welch, I've seen them with Spoken, The Classic Crime, what is the Becoming or something, some like emo rock band that only had one album that had a song that Make It Big. But anyway, I've seen them so many times, in that Creation Fest every year as a kid going there. But this was probably my favorite live performance that they've ever done.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And the band was like, it wasn't like, they're not really a band right now, right? And Norma Jean helped write their new album, like a lot of the guys in Norma Jean. So I was like kind of excited that we'd see Norma Jean up there with Andrew Schwab up front, but it was like the drummer from Wolves at the Gate.
Oh.
Abishai. Yeah, but Bobby's like, I don't know anybody, and he goes up and hugs him and talks to him for like 20
I never
minutes.
claimed to not know anybody. I knew. So here's the deal. Get it straight, Gary. All of Project 86.
I'm taking notes.
All of the guys
Except
Andrew are from Northwest Arkansas. So Abishai was in the Overseer and now Wolves at the Gate. Darren, their guitar player, was also in the Overseer. And then Cody Driggers from The Wedding played bass for them. So it was.
And doesn't one of them also own the burger place?
Cody is the
Cody and Andy are partners.
Yeah. It was special for us Arkansas people.
It's like a small world down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I think that kind of leads us to the next one I want to talk about. I mean, the almighty Norma Jean. You know, I know Gary's told me about last year there was technical difficulties, kind of just a weird set, it felt like, right? Like,
Super weird.
And compared to this year, like, how was it? Like, what you expected exceeded your expectations? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll attest that
Right.
it was amazing. Norma Jean, always amazing, always just super tight. But it was difficult in a sense because that show was halfway through Lion K's set. And we were kind of memeing on Relient K the entire time. But Relient K was actually really good. And they don't play very often anymore. And like the nostalgia was super real.
Yeah.
And so it was a little hard going into Norma Jean, but once they start, man, and the pit opens up, it was go time, and it was really fun.
It went Relient K then Norma Jean.
Different stages, but yeah.
Oh,
They were
okay.
overlapping.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I think we got to see like 8 songs or something from Relient K, and where it's like, are we sure we want to leave? Like,
Did you get
will we
Be
ever
My
see
Escape,
Relient K?
or was that saved for last?
I don't remember.
I think that was last. We didn't get to see
One of
that.
their last songs.
Wow.
If you didn't get to watch it,
Dang.
bummer.
What did you get, though? I mean, come on. What was the nostalgia trips?
I don't remember.
What songs?
Sadie
So
Hawkins
he did
dance?
like they did that at the end. We missed that too, but
Yeah.
they.
That's
a
why
lot
it was
of
so
What
hard.
did you say?
That's why it was so hard.
So they did like a pink tux to the prom thing, but instead of like high school or whatever, he talked about breaking his toe at
What was it?
Some other
like a
show.
throwdown show or something weird?
No, it wasn't like a. I don't remember. It was at
Was
a
it the
show. So the
Chariot?
lyrics were way different. It wasn't. No, I don't think it was the Chariot.
I don't remember.
No.
He broke his toe though.
I think he was moshing at a show he wasn't supposed to be moshing at.
Yeah.
Oh, it was less than. It was like less than Jake.
Anyway.
It was like a ska band.
Less
Yeah,
than
that's
Jake.
right.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
You have to mosh to ska, though. Like, there's no other way. Maybe two-step. I don't know. Like, you got to be doing
A good
something.
two-step.
You're not moshing. You're
Yeah.
skanking.
Yeah.
It's called
Yes, that's
skanking.
what it is.
Come on.
Skanking. Sorry.
I'm the ska head here, so.
Okay.
I know
Yeah,
how-
so he played a couple songs from like Two Lefts Don't Make a Right, and a couple songs from
Who I Am Hates Who I've Been.
Yeah,
I think
they
so.
played that.
Yes.
Yeah, they played that.
That's
It
one
was
of my
excellent.
faves.
Yeah, and he had a real piano out on the stage. That was kind of cool.
Cool.
But yeah, it was hard to walk away from. It really was. Like, but Norma Jean was great. Like as soon as we got there, I was like, man, I'm standing here waiting for them to come out. I could have been at Relient K for 10 more seconds. But I think we all got split up. I was on the right side, on the back right of the pit, and you guys were like in it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we were in.
I
I
was
Bobby
in
and I-
it, and then left side, and yeah.
didn't waste any time.
So they put on it was a really, really good show, and I can never remember the drummer's name. He's been in there for forever. Norma Jean's drummer. I don't think so. Yeah. So, but their drummer posted like he was part of the Furnace Fest community Facebook group, and he put out this big post afterwards. It was like thanking the Furnace Fest group because that was one of the most memorable shows they as a band had ever played, which was really cool. And so,
Yeah.
we saw that and we're kind of, bumping elbows like, hey, we were part of that. But it was really, really cool. And then we decided to go to emo night afterwards because
What a
Corey
freaking joke.
Corey
Wait,
was
who
supposed to be
decided?
there.
Who decided?
Well, okay, Bobby decided.
Okay, hang on.
But
Hang on.
Corey Brandon,
Yes.
Corey Brandon was supposed to be at emo night, so we went, and it was not quite what we expected. But
He wasn't there.
we can get
He
to that.
was there.
No,
He
he
was
was there.
He DJ'd
was
like
there.
5 songs. But here's the thing: is
What's to
Jimmy Eat
complain
World
about
song.
then?
it was just weird.
What's
So
wrong
Tyler,
with it?
do you know what emo night is?
Yeah,
Have you ever been?
I thought I went to an emo night in Chicago and it was just a regular karaoke, and
Exactly
we were.
what it is, and we're like, what is happening?
We sat
So
up and above everyone.
I was ready for an
Yeah.
acoustic set, Norma Jean
Yeah,
style.
it was Corey Brandon, the guy from Story of the Year, and the guy from Hello Goodbye. And I was like, oh,
That's
that could
right,
be
yeah.
fun, and it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
It was not.
So they
It was fun.
they
Come
didn't
on,
play
it was
like
fun.
classic emo
They
songs.
did. Yeah,
They
they
did,
played
but it was
classic
just
emo
a-
songs, and
Like,
they would go
they-
up and say
Kinda.
something beforehand, and sometimes
They
they sing
performed
along.
it or
No, they
DJ'd
DJ'd it.
DJ'd.
No,
Oh.
they DJ'd.
And it was kind
Yeah,
of
the
emo
most Corey
songs.
Brandon did was a Jimmy Eat World song where they do all the woes, you know?
Oh, Sweetness.
Yes.
Or
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So he went and did the woes to Norma Jean style, and
That was
What-
kind of cool.
yeah.
Ohio's for Lovers. Had to
No,
happen.
that's the thing. They didn't play any real emo.
What?
Well, I don't know. We were
There
late.
was
though.
no.
Taking Back
There was
Sunday.
no Bayside.
Cheetahs what we ain't for cut
There
from the
was
team.
no.
No. Oh
It's
man.
like they played Jimmy Eat World and My Chemical Romance. Like,
Okay, I guess.
kinda.
That's
But
funny.
the best part of the whole thing was there was air conditioning.
Yeah.
So that part was a win.
That's nice.
But you didn't bail on bands to go to
No.
this,
No.
did you?
No,
That was after
Oh, okay.
MXPX.
No.
it was an after
Yeah.
party. But
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. Okay, so Norma Jean, I lied. I did see a video. I think Gary sent it to me. It was The End of All Things will
Oh.
be televised tonight. The South is
So
on fire.
good.
That
Yeah.
breakdown, dude.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, that was absolutely insane. So
Yeah. Yeah, and so compared to last year, watching them on the main stage, besides their technical difficulties and the accident that happened right in front of Cecil, and like,
Yep.
oh,
you know, where they had to stop the show and all that, and like, you know, they had like the 10-foot barricades, and like, it was just like they were off on a stage, and we were all just kind of watching them. It wasn't part of the show.
yeah.
But in the shed, that's where Norma Jean belongs.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
amen.
people are all over that stage. They're like climbing on top
Yeah.
of Corey and like doing just crowd surfing, and it was a huge like group event rather than just like watching Norma Jean play.
How
So
it should
it
be.
was
And they played
wild.
2 songs.
And for those of you,
I was gonna say they played 2 songs from "Bless the Martyr, Kiss the Child," which was
Whoa,
really cool.
Usually, it's
Yeah,
just
usually it's just "Memphis Will Be Laid to
What
Waste."
was-
They played "Creating Something Out
Yeah.
of Nothing."
one. Oh wow, that's awesome.
It was pretty cool.
to kind of echo what Gary's saying, like for those of you who have never been in the shed, like one of the things that makes it so I don't know, intimate's not the right word, but the whole shed is at an angle, like the floor is at an angle, so it's pushing you towards the
Forced
stage
intimacy.
the whole time, right? So the whole floor
What?
is angled to the stage, like it's at a slant, and it's not like it's a slight incline. It's pretty steep,
Does
especially
it stop
considering.
before like flatten
So
out?
the pit gets flat,
Kinda, yeah.
and then it starts to go up, and the stage is built on the slightly up part.
Oh,
Right.
And they poured a new
And
stage
so
this year.
the whole crowd's being forced down towards the pit, and so then like it.
Some of
You-
us
you
use our
wind
toes
up
to hold
squeezing
ourselves
it.
back, but others
Yes.
just roll. You know, they're like,
Others
I can't
just take it.
stop.
Yeah,
I'm a can't stop kind of
yeah.
guy.
I think. Yeah, I think Bobby and I picked a guy up who definitely broke some ribs during their
Dude
set.
got
Like,
smoked.
We saw him later. Prior to Norma Jean, and he's like doubled over a trash can. We're like, yeah, that dude, like he's just holding his ribs, like. But I saw him in the pits like the whole rest of the week too. Like the dude was a trooper. Like
it's Furnace Fest. You can't
he
leave.
stuck it out. Right. he paid
Severely
for it.
concussed.
Yeah, this dude. Yeah. So it got pretty intense, but it was incredible. It was great.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Well, anything else from Friday that you guys? I mean, you got Amberlin. Did you guys check them out,
You know,
Nope.
or what didn't work out? Not Amberlin,
afar.
guys.
We were like looking for
afar.
food or something. Yeah. So we were listening, and we were like, we heard them do like the feel good drag, and I was like, any takers that he's gonna scream the part he's supposed to scream? And it's like, no way. And you know, he sang it. In fact, I think he sang it even softer. And they went like all acoustic for it instead of like, you know,
Getting older.
like that used to be a breakdown on their first version of
Be a
it.
breakdown.
But
kinda sorta.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, not my thing.
We let them finish, and then we got up pretty close for MXPX. So
I went to
we were all
Gideon.
there for MXPX.
Gideon. How were
Gideon
they?
was earlier in the
Gid-
day, yeah.
Yeah, Gideon was sweet. I'd never seen them before, and I wanted
Heavy.
to hear like, yeah, they're like that angry, like beat down.
Kublai Khan
Hardcore.
type stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and their whole like get up, like the lead guy looks
The
like a
cowboy
cowboy,
hat
and then
and-
the
Yeah.
2 guitar players look like they came out of a Korn cover band. But they were really good live, and they did a Wall of Death for I think it
All
was
the way
Bite
back.
Down.
Oh, jeez.
They went all the
and it
way
was-
back. It was crazy.
Gary,
it was
did you see
pretty
them?
sweet.
I saw the first couple songs and then I left.
You probably went to Knuckle Puck or something.
Nothing off. What's the first album called? I always forget. No.
Costs?
Costs. Anything off of Costs?
No way. I don't think they played anything face down, did they?
They did. They did. Hang on, I gotta find the song. They played. So they played No Love, No One. They played Bite Down. They played Cursed. Too Much Is Never Enough. And then I think from Milestone.
So Cursed is from one of them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
I remember which one. Yeah, they played one of their earlier ones. Oh, from Cost. You're right.
Yeah, I went and got food and fueled up for the next show. I don't remember what that was, but I was like, I'm going to take this moment to catch my breath.
I think it was Unworthy, which is surprising to me big time.
Yeah.
'Cause that's a super faith-based song, and that's the sad part is like you're like really enjoying listening to them, and then it's like this piece in the back of your head that's like they did the whole like deconversion thing, and but they're great live.
That's something we've kind of struggled with too. Like we loved it. We saw them when they were touring for Costs, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And now I still listen to their music and enjoy them.
Yeah.
They're so that's the type of like hardcore that like I need more of, the beatdown stuff. Like man, so good. All right, so then you guys go to MXPX, which is like a bucket list item for me, and I live in the same state that they're from, and I've never seen them. So there's that. So MXPX, how was it?
What was the phrase you said?
Oh my gosh.
I've
been complaining about this.
Out.
So he said, there's a saying, it goes, only God can judge. And he's like, but I say, only judge can God. And then he just starts the next song. And everyone's just standing there going, what?
What?
What does it mean?
It actually makes sense.
It's a thing, whatever.
Now that you think about it and then mull that over, it makes total sense.
Like 2 days later, I'm laying on the grass but next to Bobby, and I'm like, is he just trolling us? Like, it's still on my mind, and I can't
literally
stop
woke me
thinking
up.
about it.
I was asleep in the grass, and he woke me up. He's like, what's been bothering me?
You can't really be serious, can he?
What does it mean?
Oh my gosh.
So it had to be
It's
just
good.
like jammed packed, right? Like tons of
It was,
people
yeah.
just singing along.
The hardest fall I took was during the MXPX show, which
What?
is like a real big party foul. So, they started a little circle pit at one point, and I was like, well, I'm going to go run in a circle.
It's an MXPX. I won't die.
Yeah, I'll be fine. This is totally safe. But they in the main stage field, they had put turf, like AstroTurf down, which if you were at 2022, the AstroTurf was a great ad.
Yeah,
like
amazing.
It was a giant dust cloud last year. This year was way better, but unfortunately that meant you also couldn't tell where like terrain changes were because it was just all masked by this. So yeah, I absolutely rolled my ankle and just like plowed through 6 people rolling across the circle pit, and then I like went back over to the rest of the gang, and I'm like, I hope no one actually saw that for MXPX. Like,
I didn't.
but no,
I didn't know
was
it
great.
happened.
It was I rolled pretty good, like full on my back, like another dude picking me up, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Norma
this is
Jean,
so
you were fine. You were
totally
fine
fine,
at Norma
totally
Jean.
fine, totally fine, Norma Jean. But
MXPX almost died.
Got me. Yeah,
Only
on my
judge
back
can God.
with a rolled ankle. Yeah, only judge can God.
Responsibility. What's that? And you're just getting dude.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm on the phone with my wife after night one, and it's like, well, yeah, I took a pretty bad fall, and she's like, really? What show? And I'm like, well, MXPX. And she just laughs at me like,
Aw.
That's awesome.
yeah, that happened. But other than
sad.
that, it was fantastic.
Cool.
Might as well have been armor for sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, MXPX was a lot of fun. There's an old dude in the mosh pit. I mean,
That
we're
was
talking,
cool.
what, 80?
Yeah.
75?
He was in his 60s at least.
80,
No,
dude.
dude.
You know how
he was
old
like,
80 is?
He was
At least
decades older
90.
than my dad.
300.
80 is older than Joe Biden, right? Like
He came out of the grave.
Freaking ridiculous.
But it was really cool seeing, an older generation out there, and people were like hitting them and bumping them, and then being like, "Oops, sorry," like, be careful around this man.
But dude stayed out there for like 45 straight minutes, like just in the middle of the circle, like
two-step
dancing along.
Two-step and doing
it
the
was,
like finger wave. Like,
yeah, he was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but MXPX was a ton of fun. I mean, they had a lot of energy. Like I don't know, it was entertaining more than like I don't know, like jamming to music. Lots of jokes.
And impressive. You know, comparatively to Amberlin, like those guys are probably the same age. He kept up and he performed very like at a very high level still.
Yeah.
It was cool. Really impressive, yeah.
Lots of bass solos.
Oh yeah.
Lots of bass solos.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of group shout stuff, sing along. Not a fan of those so much because it's like, you know,
unless
what am I?
Standing next to me.
Youth group. Unless I'm standing next to Tim, then it's hilarious.
Was that the meme?
Yeah,
you were the meme voice, Tim.
Yeah,
I heard that.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, I posted a reel, and this guy's like, I was like a person behind you and a person to the right, and he's like, you guys were the most fun to watch at the MXPX show.
That's so cool.
I did have earplugs in, so I didn't really know how loud I was. I knew I was loud, but I didn't realize I was like drowning out the sound. Yeah.
Yes,
this one.
They play their old stuff, I presume, like Chick Magnet and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Chick Magnet was a bop.
That's so fun.
Good.
Okay, so I think that really concludes Friday. Anything else from Friday you guys want to talk about?
Emo night. It was a thing to remember, and then forget soon after.
Yeah, we were so tired too.
They kept trying to pay me money to go stand on the stage with all these little teeny bopper girls in my Convictions
That's true.
shirt.
What was the Conviction shirt?
It's the
Crucify me upside down.
It's the upside down cross.
Let's go! I have that same one.
Yeah, they're like, we'll pay you
too.
$10 to go stand up on the stage and just stand there and not do anything.
Is it the one with it on the back, right?
No, it's just on the
No, it's
front.
on the front.
Oh,
There's a $10 bet.
mine's the one on the back.
He had to go up there and stand next to everybody
Yeah.
that's up there dancing and singing along or whatever. They're drunk.
But he wasn't allowed to dance.
He wasn't allowed. He had to just stand in the middle of the stage for the rest of the song, not moving, wearing his unworthy
What
shirt.
if Corey Brandon punched me? What?
Oh.
Then you'd have street cred.
Nah, he just stood there
Maybe.
right next to you.
Maybe. I don't know.
You'd have street cred.
I don't know.
Okay. So Saturday, I made the decision. Saturday would have been my favorite day. From bands like, I mean, and some of these like Thursday, Seosin into Shikari, like that reminds me of high school. Obviously Become the Archetype was probably sick. Like I can't even, Holyname, that experience I cannot wait to hear about. Living Sacrifice, which had to be pretty dope. I'm a Mindforce guy. I know you guys didn't go to Mindforce, or
I
Gary
did.
said.
We did.
Let's go.
Mindforce.
Okay,
is great.
I got to hear about that.
Yeah.
I got to hear about that. Training for Utopia. Like, I mean, some of those bands are just unreal. So, and then obviously the big one, Turnstile.
Oh yeah, Turnstile.
So let's talk about Saturday. Like, what stood out? What did you guys go see?
Start with Mindforce since they were early in the day.
Okay, so yeah, I'm a huge Mindforce
And where was
guy.
I? Why wasn't I there?
I don't know.
I
You were
think had
probably
gone back to the car to drop merch.
Oh,
yeah.
I think.
I told
Maybe.
Garrett, dude, you need to at least like just check out Mindforce for me, check out Turnstile for me, and just let me know. Just like talk to me about it. And he didn't even go see Mindforce.
one
so
out
I'm
of
glad
two
you
ain't
guys
bad.
did.
Bobby
Okay,
and I
so
went.
Mindforce, were there a lot of was there a lot of kickboxing happening?
Yeah, it was a crazy show, and we stood kind of in the back of the shed because we just kind of got there late. But they're so good live, and like he's just that typical like East Coast New York hardcore.
Yeah.
And he's so funny. What he said, like, this song goes out to my wife. I love her and I take a bullet for her. And then the next song is like, this one goes out to my enemies. I hope you die. And then they just like dude, chaos.
Oh man, yeah, I've seen so many live videos on YouTube and stuff, and like just brutal. The crowd's just insane.
They were cool.
You know, and it's not like it's, you know, like super heavy, right? But there's breakdowns and stuff like that. But it's like it's just that old kind of like traditional hardcore.
Yeah,
you know?
they were great.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Cecil, you liked them too?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I didn't really know anything about them, but it was a spectacle to behold. There was just like the shed should not be this active this early. Like people are way too excited for like the third set of the day. Like this is a lot. But it was great.
Dude, that makes my heart happy. Wow. Okay.
Good.
Sweet. So, what else on Saturday did you guys go dialing? I mean, I know I saw the boat, rowing the boat and becoming the Archetype. Do we need to talk about that right now?
Gary,
I think they're the next band we saw.
Gary
right?
just rode the boat, man.
Yeah,
So how did that all go down?
I don't really know. He
So
just
I
was
think the
in
song
there.
was Elegy.
yeah, it was during LG, I believe. Well, yeah, I just look over.
I don't know. We were. I looked over too, right? So like the song's awesome. I'm trying to record it, and I just see a bunch of dudes in the mosh pit rowing, and I was like, well, I have a beard. I think I have to do this. Just put my phone away and got in line. Didn't think anyone was gonna like record me or
Sorry.
and then make fun of how I row.
Yeah, he was actually like grabbing. Like he was like I don't know what he was grabbing, but he was grabbing something.
Letting go,
With
grabbing.
each row.
There were new paddles every time, you guys.
Recycled new. Recycled new.
Oh man,
Okay.
it was
okay.
good. He fit really well in the boat though, because the beard. I mean, he looked like he belonged in the boat. So
Yeah,
was good.
for sure.
it was good.
No, but Becoming the Archetype themselves were great. They played a lot of old stuff, which was really cool. They played a couple of songs off the new album as well. But
Yeah.
and then they closed out with "How Great Thou Art," which is
Really?
like
It was pretty
really
good.
cool. I've been trying to guilt trip the worship pastor at my church for like 3 years to play that, but he hates anything with rock and roll. So it's like, come on, man, look. And so it was just really cool to see that live, like at a festival like Furnace Fest, where I mean, let's face it, not the whole audience is not there for bands that play "How Great Thou Art," but it was cool to see them play that. It's like I'd never seen them play it live. I've seen them 3 or 4 times, but I'd never actually seen them play it live. So it was really cool. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was my first time seeing them, and I really, really enjoyed it. I had a chance to see them right before Jason Wisdom left the band, but I don't remember why I couldn't go. But they played my favorite song, "Ransom,"
Let's go.
Such a good song.
which so they ended a song, and their guitarist Seth goes to the keyboard thing, and he starts like playing a song, and it turns into that harpsichord "Ransom," and I was like, "This is Ransom. This is Ransom." And they're like, and Jason made a joke, how about you quit
Harpsichord's
playing
all
that? Yeah, harpsichords, whatever, and was just like, let's do the next song, kind of thing, and so it's kind of like a joke because I don't think they could have actually tied it in without like a click track or some kind of sound, like
Right.
But yeah, so then they started it, and it was a great song, right? It played really well. It's their most metalcore song. They're usually progressive metal, because
Right.
they got that "My hands have taught me terrible things."
So good.
Awesome breakdown.
Beautiful. Yeah.
But yeah, it was really good, and I think Jason's voice is so good live, like
Really?
so thick and like full bodied. I don't know how else to describe it, but
Beefy.
yeah.
Beefy.
I mean, compared to a lot of the other screaming that we heard through the weekend, there's people who are like, "Ooh, you need to rest that," like you're gonna hurt yourself, and he just sounded like it was like easy.
That's cool,
But
man.
yeah.
Awesome. So what else did you guys see on Saturday then?
I mean, next up would have been Living Sacrifice.
Yeah, it was just a day in the shed, right?
Mostly,
Yeah,
yeah.
actually,
All
I
this was in the shed?
I was in the
No.
no. Becoming the Archetype played main stage.
Oh, okay.
But the next three
then-
in a row were shed.
Yeah, I basically stayed in the shed the rest of the day.
Yeah, Saturday was kind of a geezer fest. I feel like, at least for the first half of the day, it was just like a bunch of geezers playing metal.
music.
Yeah,
Old metalcore, hardcore
Yeah.
people.
it was cool. It was cool, but it was a lot of old dudes. And then probably next up after that, of note was Holyname, which was freaking
Whoa,
amazing.
we can't skip Living Sacrifice. And
Oh
those
yeah.
guys,
Okay,
like,
yeah, you can go back to Living Sacrifice.
so those guys. So I grew up in a household that listened to metal like my whole life, and I'm from Oklahoma, so it's not like I'm that far from Arkansas. And so Living Sacrifice is an Arkansas band, so I've seen them a whole bunch growing up. Like Bruce's nephew is my barber in Arkansas, right? So I've got some Living Sacrifice connections, but so I've loved those guys for forever. They got out there and played some old stuff. They had DJ, their original lead singer. He came and played a song with them. They played a lot of really good old stuff. Like their first song was Reject. Which is like,
my dad's like, it's like his birthday that day, and I called him early, and he's like, if they play Reject, record it, and it's the first song. I'm like, geez, get my phone out, gosh.
Yeah, Gary had said, I was like, I've been instructed to record Reject, and I'm standing there as the song set starts. I'm like, hey, he's like, I gotta hurry. Dad's gonna be mad. And then the weirdest thing of that set had to be the fact that the perennial guest vocalist of the day, so Ryan Clark joined like 6 different sets on Saturday. He played in like he'd just randomly show up. It's like, which song is Ryan Clark going to come sing today?
He's on the side stage, guys. You think he'll be here?
Right. And so to end out the Living Sacrifice set, one of the guitar players from Demon Hunter, Jeremiah from Demon Hunter, and Ryan Clark come out and they sing a Pantera song. And so
that's pretty cool.
It was really random. Like I'm confused, but this is also really great. And so
it was cool.
Yeah, Bobby and I were or Tim too. We all 3 went and saw Pantera in Arkansas 3 months ago. Yeah. And it sounded better than Pantera, so it was like, well, this is great. So
true.
We'll just Living Sacrifice.
According to Tim, that's not hard to do.
Well, that's true. Tim was not a
Pantera was garbage.
even Walk,
Walk was great.
It was good.
Walk was great, but yeah, it was really wild. Like if you had put that on a list of things I would see that day, I would have not picked that one as one I would see that day.
That's cool. That sounds awesome. Yeah, Living Sacrifice, it's another one. Like, all these, like, Becoming the Archetype, Living Sacrifice, going back to With Blood Comes Cleansing. Like, I've never seen these bands. And, like, this was it, you know? That's what it kind of feels like. So it's so cool you guys got to see them. So the next one then was Holyname.
No, it would have been Zao.
Okay.
So after Living Sacrifice was Zao, and then Training for Utopia, and I listened to them as a kid. They're like not my favorite bands, but so I had to see them, and I just stood at the top of the shed and watched. But I don't know why, but I was just dead tired on Saturday, and I was like, man, if we're gonna see Holyname, I want to be fully rested, because right after Training for Utopia is Holyname. So I went out and chilled on the grass, and Bobby was out there, and that's when he was asleep. And I was like, the thing MXPX said, this really bothered me. But so I got to I watched a couple songs from both, and I'll let Cecil. I think you were there for both of those the whole way. Right?
Yeah. I stayed basically in the pit for Zao, because I grew up listening to Zao. The last time I had seen Zao, I got a concussion. So I don't really remember seeing Zao that much. And so, I used to go a lot harder in the pit than I did nowadays.
Except for MXPX. We
except for MXPX. Yeah, that's true. But so I've grown up with Zao. I had a Zao shirt on Friday, because I won't wear the band shirt of the band I'm going to see at a concert. That's just a party foul.
Wait, how?
That's his thing.
How?
Yeah,
I don't foul. Oh my goodness.
If I can't wear, if I'm going to see the band that day, I can't wear their shirt.
Why?
But then, because everybody knows I like that band, I'm there watching them. So I gotta wear a different shirt.
Oh, okay.
Right.
See, I just never understood that. Okay.
Yeah, that's how it works in my head. But actually, on Saturday, Gary talked me into wearing my Becoming the Archetype shirt, so I was a poser in my own rules.
Oh,
so,
no.
How dare you?
Anyway, but yeah, I'm such a loser. But
you should have seen us in the mornings. We're like, I'm gonna wear this shirt. That clashes with mine. We can't have too many skulls.
While I put on my Hawaiian shirt.
I don't think we ever said it, but we wound up with adjoining rooms at our hotels too. So we had 2 rooms, but we all had adjoining rooms. So we really did get to pick each other's outfits in the morning. It was pretty
There were shenanigans.
You guys never wore the same band, right? Or did you?
Not on the same day.
Not on the same day. No. But
Oh
he's
my
laughing
God.
because he knows we're being serious.
Yeah, absolutely serious.
Look,
But-
we all love convictions. We all had a conviction shirt, and it's like, dude, I'm
Yeah.
wearing it on this day. We can't have the
Yeah.
same shirt, you know?
It's true. But the same guys who congratulated or told Bobby they liked his conviction shirt on Friday told me the same thing when they saw my conviction shirt on Sunday. So at least the crowds are consistent.
They probably thought you were the same person. They're like, that guy's
Yeah,
been wearing it
probably.
all weekend.
Yeah, I bet that shirt really smells great.
That's funny.
But no, Zao was incredible. You talk about, Gary talks about guys who sound like they can't scream anymore or need to take a break. I don't know how Daniel, the lead singer for Zao, I know they don't play that often anymore, but that dude has one of those really deep, guttural, angry sounding screams and growls, but he has sounded the same since the late 90s. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it. And so he sounded just as mean and angry as ever.
What's
So
up
I
with their
stayed down-
guitarist with his eyes rolling back all
What
the
a
time?
spooky
Drooling.
fella.
That's kind of his thing. Like he used
Like
to do
spitting?
this thing.
It's distracting. I'm trying to like enjoy the music, and he's drooling on his guitar and licking it and stuff. And it's like, stop.
Yeah,
It was
mean-
strange. I watched 2 songs.
I know it's like his thing. I saw a shirt. They sold a Zao shirt with like his face on it, like his eyes rolled back and all that stuff.
yeah. I can make no excuses for him. He is weird. I'm not going to deny. But I grew up with him, so I really liked it. But he used to do this thing where he would get up on top of the bass cabs or the guitar cabs and then jump off and land on his knees. And
Can't do that now.
obviously, that's not good for you. And so I read an article once. It's like his doctor had told him, like, after his second knee replacement, it's like, you got to quit that. So he does this thing now, like he does the zombie thing. And then for those of you who weren't in there, which is everybody here, he does this thing where he stands up and just falls over on his back. Like, instead of jumping off of things, he just falls over and then plays a verse or two from his back. It's like kind of weird, but other than that, yeah, Training for Utopia was up next. I'm wearing a Training for Utopia shirt tonight. You can't see
Sweet.
it, but
You better not be seeing them tonight.
they were no, not tonight, but they were great. And it was kind of funny. Gary and I moved up out of the pit for those guys, but Gary and I were talking, and there was the original lineup for the band was there, right? And Ryan talked about it, how it was like all the original guys, but then there was this kid on the other side of the stage, and I looked at Gary and I was like, well, what are the chances this kid was alive the last time that Training for Utopia played a show? And so then, like 2 songs later, Ryan's introducing the band. He's like, and obviously you guys know my brother Don, and that's actually Don's kid. He's
Whoa.
17 and playing guitar. And I was like,
That's cool.
aha, so he really wasn't alive the last time they played a show. But
Dang.
yeah, so they have
That's
Don's 17-year-old kid playing like another rhythm guitar for them. And so
Yeah.
it was really cool. Like, and that's the type of thing where it's obviously a band that was never real commercially successful. And
Yeah.
obviously it's rolled into a lot of different music for a lot of those guys in the band. But to see it still as like this weird family atmosphere was really pretty cool. It's like, well, now it's like a dad jamming with his kid.
Yeah, that's so
and
sweet.
so it was really, really cool. And they wore their like matching outfits.
fringe.
It
Cowboy
was
outfit.
cowboy
the
outfits.
fringe.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
Ryan had like this fringe vest on, and they went all in. But it was pretty great.
That's awesome. So then what's next?
I went to 2 songs.
Ben was
I went to
holding
2 songs of Seosin. I had to see them. I haven't seen them since college, and nobody else was impressed.
And
I liked them.
I went there too, but I
like
got a
Seosin
hamburger.
too.
I thought they were great.
What 2 songs did you see? Do you know? Was it or were they? Just...
Yeah, they played one from one of their earlier albums. I don't recall the name, and then they played one from their self-titled with, I think it was Voices.
Oh yeah, Voices is good.
Yeah, which it was a great song.
Yeah, I was big into Seosin back in the day, but Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they were good.
No one liked that? No one
None
was
of these
in on
guys.
that?
Well, it's like 10 minutes
Okay.
into Seosin and then Holyname,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Or it was another one of those, like, it
Yeah.
overlaps, so what are you going to do?
But apparently, I mean, the crowd for Seosin was huge.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's cool.
After Living Sacrifice, which was like 4 hours before Holyname, I basically chilled in the car next to main stage because I was so whooped after Norma Jean.
Weren't you
that
in the
I
grass
hated.
too, like sleeping on the fence or something?
Yeah, we went and hung out in the grass, and I was like, you know what, this is kind of uncomfortable. I'm gonna go to the car after like an hour or something like that. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
It got hot, and
I was just hanging out. Yeah, it did start getting hot. But Holyname.
And then you guys reunited at some point for Holyname. We're going to get there, or we're going to keep beating around this
We're
bush?
there. We're
We're
there.
at
Okay.
We're there.
Okay. So I got to hear it from all you guys. Like, how was it? I mean, it's one of those where they don't perform live. Like, this is
This was
it,
their first
you know?
one.
This is their first one.
get after it, Gary. Start
So
us
I
off.
was nervous.
You were nervous.
I was nervous about it because I was like, well, I love the album.
Yes, me too.
I don't know how they're going to pull this album off, right? And so
Yeah.
I was like, man, what if this sucks?
No,
Like,
Furnace Fest
it's
is the
good.
place that they could pull it off, right?
Right,
Because their
right.
problem, it's not a problem, but all their songs have guest vocalists except for a few.
Correct.
So it's like they
Right.
got to be at a place where all these other people are at. So it's
Yeah.
like, well, we already know Ryan Clark goes on stage for every band, so
Right.
he'll go on for his song. But then they had a couple other people come and join, and I'll get to that when we get there. But this was actually, so it wasn't at the shed, and it wasn't at the main stage. It was at the pond stage, right at sunset. So like 7-ish. So when it starts, the sun's like beaming on the stage. When they're done, it's like pitch black outside. But the pond stage, it's called that because right next to it is a pond with like a bunch of waterworks and stuff from the old blast furnace. That's just like over there. But it's like got a bunch of trees around. It's a much more chill stage. A lot of the bands that play there are more of the softer side or experimental side or ska,
Yeah.
But so the stage was just different, and it was really cool being there at sunset time to do this whole thing. And I got there with Tyler because we got burgers together, and then you guys were all together on the other side of the stage, and we're like texting each other like, here's my view of the stage. We're over here, and I'm like, oh, they're on that side, but they were about to start, and but they had technical difficulties to start with, and I was kind of nervous about that. His mic wasn't working. There was a popping and clicking sound coming from the bass, and they were just there was just a lot of issues, and I think they started like 5 minutes late. But yeah, anybody want to start with their experience of it and what they thought? Me keep
Not all at
talking?
once, boys.
I wish I could remember their song order because there's a few songs I wish they played, but
I mean, it was
one of the,
basically the EP.
yeah,
Mm.
kind of the
Basically
front
the
half of
live
the EP. One of their first ones was Creed. I think that was their second song, and Creed started, and I was gone. The pit engulfed me, and I became one with it.
So there's a pit, but then there's
It was
worship,
kind of wild.
Yeah,
and then there's pit.
Yeah.
Is that what happens?
It was
just like-
dangerous, dude.
It was dangerous.
yeah. It was violent worship, as they call it.
right, but like there's times like Creed, right? Like obviously there's super heavy pieces, but then there's just like Hillsong-esque choruses. No, during that too?
So
Okay.
they
No,
did.
yeah, you'd stop and sing with them.
Stop, hands up, then
Yep.
elbows out.
So they did Celestial.
Okay.
But
yeah.
Joe Mustin was supposed to be there, but he had to speak at a funeral that came up suddenly. And so the guy from Before There Was Rosalind did his part, and he
was
did so
awesome.
good.
He did.
Was that the first song they did?
No, it was like the.
Yeah, I think that was the third song.
I think Creed was the third, because that's when I put my phone down. I'm like, I'm going in that pit.
You're right.
for-
It was the
for
second
Creed.
song because, yeah. So Bobby and I were on like the back right side of the pit to start, and then we watched during the second song, somebody on stage decided to stage dive.
Yeah.
And
there's a video on YouTube.
He like run. I mean, yeah, like dude goes running and he jumps and the seas part.
Like he made no eye contact with anybody, and everyone just looks and goes, steps out of the way. Slam.
Like he full on, 6 foot stage or 5 foot stage, like to the ground, like no in between, no breaking a fall, lands, and then it's like, I think it's like the middle of Creed or maybe the next or the first or whichever song, Celestial maybe.
We're all in the pit at this point.
And at that point, it's like, all right, well, now people are starting to get active. So we all wound up like smashed right smack dab center for the whole rest of the set.
Yep.
Like
in front
very
of the pit,
front.
Yeah, on the rail.
I didn't know where Gary was to start the show, but we all wound up on top of one another about 2 feet in front of the gate.
Yeah, I found you guys because I went in to the pit and I turned and looked and I saw Bobby just get flipped upside down.
Smoked.
Oh,
upside
man.
down?
Yeah, like I was doing like a circle.
That was
like
pretty
this
bad.
dude did like this ninja sweep on him.
Wait, a leg sweep?
Bobby was just two-stepping.
The dude was like breakdancing on the ground and like took his legs out and he's like, "Ooh, I'm sorry." And Bobby's
Go for
like,
the knee.
I hit all I remember is my head hitting the ground.
Dude.
and that's how I found you guys.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Cecil has a video of it.
I think I have that on video. Yeah, I got the end result on video right before I joined the pit. You see Bobby like go skidding across the ground as he's just been drop kicked, and then I turn the video off and run and get it. Like I'm like, all right, my turn. Like,
You got drop kick for Jesus.
Meanwhile, in the background, it's celestial beings from the throne.
Bobby just became a celestial being.
Dude.
But after we got up in the pit, like, and the crowd started going, and Tommy stopped a couple of times and like led the whole like the whole thing in prayer, like prayed a couple times, like
which was
talked
awesome.
Like started the show off with a prayer, which was really cool, and then which is probably why nobody tried to catch the first guy to stage dive because it's like, oh no, but we're praying in this show, and then 45 seconds later, this dude stage diving. But, like, really cool stuff. Like, stopped. He talked a little bit about, like, where the album was inspired from, like, his own personal struggles and his journey. And I'm telling you, by the end of the set, there were, like, big, sweaty, tattoo-covered men bawling.
Jeez.
Like, people were crying. It was crazy, and
awesome,
so like by the end of the set, like, and we can talk more about the set itself, but at the end of the set, like, Tommy just comes and sits down on the gate, like at the front of the stage, and people just come up, and he's like praying for people and praying with people. You turn around as you're trying to leave, and there's dudes just hugging and crying on one another in the pit, like where the pit used to be. I like reached out and there's this guy I'd seen all of last year and he was there just hugging this guy crying, and I like, patted him on the shoulder and he turned around and gave me the sweatiest, stinkiest, like nastiest hug I've ever experienced. I don't know this guy. Like, I don't know him, but it was that kind of experience where like I was not prepared for the emotional impact that set had on not only me, but like several hundred people that had gotten up and involved in that set. Like, I'm 30 minutes removed from, or an hour removed from Zao, right? The zombie guitar player, and then here we are, like, crying during a Holyname set. Like,
I think
it was wild.
It was a great time of worship.
It was
because they did like Meet Me Somewhere Quiet.
Oh yeah,
and it's just very emotional, and people are singing along, arms raised. We were literally like just singing at church as a big body of Christ. And the hard part is like that song does eventually get heavy.
Yeah.
And so like you're like fighting back tears. You're like, I don't know why I feel like crying. I'm not gonna cry. And you look over and everyone else is crying. You're like, but I'm not gonna. And your hands are up. Then you get a foot to your butt, and you look behind you, and there's like a mosh pit going, and you get pulled in. You're like, I guess I gotta go in here. Like I gotta fight my feelings out. I'm not gonna cry. You're gonna cry. And I think another thing that really tipped the scales of emotion was when he talked about doing the song Mr. Millstone.
Yeah.
Minus Brooke Reeves,
So
unfortunately.
disappointed.
But he said the song is about like men in the church, pastors, leaders, whatever, taking advantage of people sexually.
Yeah.
And sinning against them. And he's like, that is not Jesus. That is not God. That is unacceptable. That is not allowed. And he apologized for all of them. Like, and people all around me just started crying. And I'm like, man, there's so much hurt, like, in the world. And I feel like these underground shows, like metal in general, like that's just kind of where people go to get their aggression out. And I feel like it's just an unheard and unreached group of people for God. And the way he did that, like the way he did Millstone, he's like, I'm just going to get really angry here, and just yell, whisper, screaming, sink, pointing down, yelling, sink, sink. It was goosebumps, like, and then when it was over, he's like, was I angry? That was angry.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. I mean, for me, like, I think of shows I've seen that have been emotional, right? That have changed me personally. And I look at like shows like when we saw For Today, right? And Maddie preaching and the words being sung. And I would probably, it's got to be something like that, because just you guys telling me about the crowd's reaction, like, makes me want to cry, right? Like, that's just amazing to see that God is working through that and through Tommy. Like, it's just crazy, man. It's so cool. So cool.
It stole the show for the day. Like,
absolutely. Yeah, it's one of those things too. Like, the thing that I love so much about Tommy is he's not afraid to be vulnerable about like his struggles and his fears. And I feel like, especially in modern Christianity, that's not something a lot of people want to portray or want to show. Sure. I mean, Tommy at one point is up there saying, this whole album comes from, he's talked about a lot, like a season of loss that I've never experienced before.
Yeah.
And coming out of Sleeping Giant, which was, we're here to heal all the sick people. And then it didn't happen in my own life, right? Mm. And to get up on stage and literally say that, like, I recognize that, like, I may not have had it all right the first time. And this is about growth towards, like, a better or stronger view of the power of Christ. Like, and so, I mean, he's up there saying that, and that's stuff that you won't even hear a lot of, like, preachers say. Right. And we're saying that at a hardcore show in Alabama. Like, what's going on here? And so it's really cool to me to see guys like that are truly, truly, like, emotionally and spiritually invested in preaching the gospel, sharing the gospel.
For sure.
Man, it was just unreal. I feel so blessed to have seen it.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely the best part of the weekend for me.
That's cool. Sweet. Anything else on Holyname you guys want to talk about, Bobby?
You summed it up, man. It was amazing, and I've always been a big Sleeping Giant fan. And like you said, For Today, I've seen For Today probably, I don't know, 10 times, and man, this was up there.
Must be nice to live near where they're from.
Yeah, and I went to school in Omaha, so we saw a lot of For Today shows because they're from South Dakota or somewhere up there. Yeah, I mean, it was really cool, and he's just super vulnerable on stage, and he's a kind of a anxious guy, and he's like, he admits that and talks about that, and like his nervousness on stage and being in front of people. It's like once he gets into the zone, it's like you would never know that. So yeah, it was really cool to get to worship alongside not only my friends, but these big burly, like Gary was saying, big sweaty dudes who were just throwing down in the pit, 20 minutes ago. So.
Yeah, it was definitely a worshipful experience. We strive to worship in everything we do and say, but like musical worship wise, I've never experienced something like that, going from moshing to lifting your hands in worship. And I don't know where I land philosophically still on that, but it was a unique experience, to say the least. But yeah, no, it was cool. Definitely a highlight of the weekend.
I'll just say, like, they also sounded good. Like,
Yeah.
I think some of us were worried that they wouldn't, just because we know how many tracks they use and things like that. And it still sounded great too, from my perspective.
That's awesome.
I was sad Brooke Reeves wasn't there.
Right.
I was a little disappointed.
Well, that would have been cool. So what guest vocalist came out? So obviously Ryan Clark.
Yeah, the singer of Before There Was Rosalind.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the singer from, I can't remember his name. But he has like a podcast right now. I don't think their band's active or anything.
He's really
I can't
good.
remember his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did really good though. Small guy that could scream big.
Yeah.
Like he's held his screams for a long time. But
Yeah.
I think there was only 3, right?
It was just the 3 of them, yeah.
I mean, they only had 30 minutes. It's
Right.
the pond, so they have like the smallest time. But
I feel like we could do an episode on the Holyname show all by itself
Almost good.
because just it's crazy to think about, like, you know, just that worship like set being there, you know, like thinking about other bands, you know, or whatever. Like, it's just crazy. So it's had to be an experience that you might not ever feel again, that you are grateful that you got to experience that. Like, just can't even put that to words. So that's awesome.
yeah, so we ended the night with Turnstile.
Underwater
You
Boy.
guys weren't fans.
They were okay. They sounded just like Turnstile.
good.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. I felt like I was listening to the CD. Like it was.
Shabba-dabba-dooba-day! It's holiday!
I'm a big like older Turnstile guy. Like, I still like the new stuff. You know, I like it for what it is. But you know, that's one of those bands I've never seen that I'd like to see. So thank you, Gary, for going and actually listening to it.
Well,
and saying,
to make you
I'm here.
upset, we left like halfway through.
You told me that already. So
listen, they were good. They sound just like they do on their albums, and we're all pretty convinced that they don't have faces because the way the lights were, it was
They
just
all
like
had
black.
long hair.
So it's like you never saw any of their faces.
And well, one thing that's different too is so like MXPX closed the night, and it felt like they were closing the night.
Yeah.
You know, like they talked a lot, they joked a lot. There was a lot of like, you know, conversation between the band and out to us. When Turnstile played, it was just song after song after song. They didn't talk.
Yeah.
And he kept like, you know, holding the mic stand way up high for people to sing along. And I'm like,
No one's gonna sing that. Yeah. You're not gonna pick up.
no one's
anybody.
that tall, dude. No.
Yeah. You know, like the old.
I could nitpick a lot, but they did sound really good. Their guitar sounded great, and vocally he sounded just like he does on the recordings.
It's the old shows are like what Mindforce kind of is today, right? Like that's what Turnstile was, just insane, people going crazy. You just, when you're a main stage, you probably don't get that anymore, right? Like it's just different. But cool. So that's Saturday, and then moving to Sunday with the big names. I mean, obviously Haste the Day, which I'm a huge fan of. I know you guys are too. A Plea for Purging, As Cities Burned, Blessed by a Broken Heart, with plenty of more. I know Gary, I'm looking at things like Ghoti Hook, right, and the Insyderz, and those are probably like childhood things for you guys too. Sunday's a pretty sweet day also. Okay? Now, when you get to Sunday, are you guys just done? Is it just like, we're ready for this to be
It was
over?
a real mix of emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that hits in. You're kind of like, I've heard a lot of music, and I've been next to a lot of sweaty people. Like, so it's kind of, the nice part about Sunday is most of the bands we wanted to watch was at the pond stage.
Okay.
So it was like shaded and chill. There was like one main stage and 2 shed for me. 3 sheds. But
And I had gotten sick that night. I don't know what happened, but I had a super bad fever, and so I just took a bunch of cold medicine, and I felt fine on Sunday when I woke up.
why am I just now hearing about
You're
this?
You guys
Patient
literally
zero.
made fun of me for several hours. I was like, I don't feel good. I said, can we stop at Walmart and get some cold medicine? And they all gave me a hard time.
Okay,
and
I
then they
remember
turned
that.
up.
And
Haste
so
the
you
Day.
gave them all COVID as a
It's
result.
possible,
pretty much.
but results are still out. Nobody really knows.
Yeah, I do think Bobby was patient zero.
Possible. It's possible.
And you guys made fun of him, and he just
Now
coughed
look
on
at
you
you.
guys. So
You are all sick.
So when we got there, by the time we got there, like, because we drove all day Friday, or drove all day Thursday. Friday, Bobby's wife is texting them saying their kids are sick. And then the rest of the weekend, each one of the people that's traveling with us starts getting sick, starting with Bobby. So it's like,
Yeah, I woke up Saturday night at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I have been hit by a car, and I'm on fire. So took some more cold medicine, and I was fine the next day.
Yeah, I say you couldn't really tell for Bobby on Friday or Sunday. He was back up and at 'em.
that's good.
Cool. Yeah.
So yeah, Sunday.
Sunday.
We got there on time because we wanted to go check out all the merch, right? Haste the Day booth, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have a long list of stuff that I saw. I think this is the day where we like diverted the most, right? I saw a lot of stuff you guys didn't see.
Like what?
Ghoti
Well,
Hook.
you didn't watch Plea, and none of us watched Ghoti Hook for sure.
Wait,
the Insyderz,
Gary,
Chasing
I watched-
Victory.
I
you
watched
weren't
both
at
of those
Plea?
with you.
I was not at Plea.
I cannot believe that.
I've seen Plea. We'll get there. When we get there,
We'll get there
state
when
my
we get
case.
Oh,
And
man,
I don't know if you really have a case,
There's
Gary,
no
but
case.
That was like second to Holyname for me.
Plea was so good.
Yeah, we
Anyways,
will get there.
Blessed by a Broken Heart was probably the first one that any of us went to. And
Yeah, that's the first one.
and
we went.
everyone was pretty down on him, Gary.
what? Okay.
Gary's
so,
a fan.
I
I know
know
Gary's
he
a fan.
is.
So the night before, we were listening. We were after on the drive home. We like put on some music that we were going to listen to for the day, and I think Cecil put on "Blessed by a Broken Heart" or something, or maybe it was the morning of, whatever. And like the first song is like their most Christian song, and Cecil's like, "You think they'll play this?" I'm like, "No way!" And we're like, "They're not going to play this," They played it.
They played
Heck
a
yeah,
bunch
they
of
did.
stuff
That's awesome.
from pedal to the metal.
Cool.
Which was great. I was kind of worried they weren't going to. Worried is a weird word to say, but I kind of thought they
Concerned.
wouldn't. So the lead singer, I don't know if you know Tyler, but he looks like a total bro.
He's so broy
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
to the max.
He big sunglasses, athletic, muscly dude, lots of
Backwards hat.
tattoos. Exactly. Like his boxes are higher than his
back. He has a
pants,
back
and he's out
tattoo.
there
Okay, stop just-
shirtless.
Stop describing me, Gary. Come on.
He has a Veni Vidi Vici tattoo
But-
on his back. Huge.
Yeah.
He
Oh my
does.
Yeah.
word.
He does.
Every
It's
time he
true.
turned around, I had to say "Vidi Vidi Vici" in my head, and I
That's
was like,
funny.
"Why?"
That's funny.
But so despite that, he actually seemed like a really good dude, and he was really funny and humorous. Talked about Sam Ryder a bunch.
Yeah.
He used to be their guitarist and / secondary vocalist, but he also was in Close Your Eyes for the third album, and now he's like a crazy singer in the UK with
Super famous
millions
now.
of super famous. But yeah, and they played all of their old stuff and some new stuff and cracked jokes, and I mean, it was a
Yeah,
good
he
time.
interacted with the crowd
awesome.
a lot and brought a kid up on stage and let him sing, and I was really impressed.
Kid knew like all the words.
He screamed almost as good as the lead guy.
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah. They were good though. They were
Cool.
fun.
What was
They were
next
entertaining.
after Blessed by a Broken Heart?
I don't know. Where did you guys go?
Chasing Victory.
You guys all went there? I thought I was by
I
myself.
stood. I
No,
was
I went
behind
there.
the pit.
Huh.
Nothing, huh?
Okay. I have no memory. I felt like I was by myself.
No
Tim,
memory.
I don't know if you know, but you're muted. He might know.
Oh yeah, I just
Man,
pointed
I
at my
said something
screen.
really funny.
I know. I saw you laughing, and I was like, he thinks he's talking.
No one. Tim's like, no one thinks I'm funny. Just laughing. About
Let
myself.
alone
No,
joke.
but you guys all laughed, so I thought it hit,
Oh.
man. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
So what'd you say? What's so funny, Tim?
I was still in the car, so I'm pretty.
Yeah.
It came out funnier than that when I originally said it. So, no, I was in the car until Plea for Purging at 5 o'clock. So.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
I and
Dang.
Tim just camped out in the car and ate
Dude.
snacks and got older. I don't know what they did.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
I think we parked with 3/4 of a tank of gas, and then by the time we left, we had a quarter tank left.
Oh, car's on, and you're just blasting
yeah, no,
AC.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, it was the hottest
Yeah.
day. Sunday was the
It was
hottest.
super hot.
Yeah,
I
it
think
was
that
the
was.
hottest
My
day.
gosh.
I'm part Alaskan, or I was born and raised in
Well.
Alaska, and so when I stepped out of the car and immediately got sunburned, I was like, yeah, I'll hang out in the car for a
Tell by
while.
his rugged looks. It's part Alaska.
Thank you for the sarcasm.
So you guys, for 7 hours or
5
hours sat in the car with the AC on?
Yeah, because we all did our
Why
merch
didn't you just
stuff.
go back to the hotel?
We had some good snacks.
No, it was great actually because they stayed in the van and we bought our merch and we just went to the fence and tossed it over.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're that close to the place?
The
just across-
VIP parking's on
You
the other
rolled
side
the
of
window
fence.
down, you could hear it?
I think
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
I think Ty and I both came in to buy like As Cities Burns or whatever merch, and then we got a burger from the place.
The 7th of the weekend.
Just one more.
I think our
Just one
fifth
more.
burger. I think that was each of ours fifth burger.
Were you like covered up with like your clothes, like walking because you were so hot, or like, hurry?
Yeah. Oh man, it was brutal.
Dude, that's crazy.
But yeah, and then yeah, it was
Probably
basically-
humid too, right? Like super humid and.
Yeah, the humidity wasn't too bad, but
It wasn't that hot. It was like in the mid 80s. Like
It was
and
horrible. It was like
No.
105 degrees.
Dude, it was like 94 on Sunday.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
It was hot.
Did it get that
Like,
hot on Sunday?
Friday was like mid 80s, and every day was like 5 degrees warmer.
A little hotter.
It was pretty warm.
It was
I
hot.
believe
To
it.
Tim's point, it
So
was hot.
if you're a band playing at Furnace Fest, you do not want Sunday, right? Because all the festival goers got to be burned out, right?
Some of the bands say that too on Sunday is like everyone's tired, they're ready, they're burned out from live music. Yeah.
It's a lot.
Okay, so you guys got to save Sunday for me. Other than the AC
Okay.
in the car, what was good?
So I went to Chasing Victory.
I went to
Right.
Chasing Victory. Yeah.
Okay.
Chasing Victory was good. And they played like all their songs, and the dude sounded just like he did 15 years ago. And David Bunsen showed up for that too,
Yes,
and
he
did a part on that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what? Who doesn't this guy? Him and Ryan Clark were like tag teaming stages, I swear. But yeah, not a lot to share on that one because I feel like not a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, I was there for the whole set. I just didn't really listen to them a lot growing up. So
But so at the same time, Trenches was playing,
Yep.
right?
yeah.
Yeah, it was Chasing Victory and Trenches. Trenches was the pond stage. So I bailed. Like, they're like, this is our last song, and I didn't know that song that well, and I left like halfway through to go to Trenches, and I got to hear like two songs from Trenches. And, you know, everyone's all talking about his big bike accident. Jimmy Ryan had
Mountain
a
bike accident, yeah.
bike accident, a huge bruise on his back and stuff. And
Not gonna lie, you're making this AC sound great, guys.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. That was a joke. I'm
Well,
kidding.
then there was a big break, and then it was Plea for Purging.
Man,
and
it was worth
Plea
waiting.
was amazing.
all right, tell me about Plea because I wasn't there.
wait.
Okay, to be fair-
we got to hash this out. So Gary, what did you miss Plea for?
All right, so
Ghoti
Ghoti
Hook.
Hook started 5 minutes before Plea. I caught 2 songs from a Plea for Purging, but so Ghoti Hook, punk band. I grew up on them. There's my first CD I ever bought was Sumo Surprise
Okay,
with my own money.
valid.
And I loved Ghoti Hook, and they played really well. I loved it. Not like Circle Pit worthy or running around, but it was mostly just hit with nostalgia hearing them play like songs like Chevy Nova.
Thanks, yeah.
Banana Man, like all that stuff, dude. Like it's so good. And I had a great time, even though I think I was the only person, even from all of Discord there. But I've seen Plea. I've never seen Ghoti. I bet you I will see Plea again. I bet you I will never see Ghoti again.
It's valid.
You really think you'll see Plea again?
Did you see how many shows they're doing this
2.
year already?
2.
3 now. They announced one today.
Oh, another one?
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure they did. Unless I'm thinking of someone
We
else.
did see Plea for the Haste Today farewell tour, and Haste Today's back. So I mean, you never know, right? Like,
Yeah.
I guess it can happen.
So I did see the last 2 songs for Plea, which was
last two.
Fat Pride and Malevolence.
Let's go.
Right. He saw the 2
Fat
big ones.
Pride was hilarious. Okay, I had never listened to Plea before. Ever.
You
Not a
just
song.
know they make really good smash burgers.
Yeah, he sold me the 2 days prior when I would meet him at the hamburger place, and he's a very genuine, cool guy who's just like in it for his employees, and makes delicious burgers. So I fell in love with him via that way. and then he sang a song about being fat and threw out burgers during that song.
Oh yeah.
And a guy the size of the most quintessential sumo wrestler you'd ever imagine stage dived and about crushed Cecil and Bobby in the process. Man,
Whoa.
it was
a big boy.
It was wonderful.
Oh, how many burgers do you think you threw out? Like 50?
50
Nah,
for sure.
man.
Well, they
Yeah.
tried a giant slingshot and it
had,
didn't
like-
work, so then they just started pucking them
It
into
didn't
the
work.
audience.
Because I've heard
So-
another podcast talk about 20, and I've heard another one say 50.
We'll
No, I think
Then it
there
was at
more
least
than that,
100.
because there was like
35.
Like,
no,
At least 1,000 of them.
no, because he had like 5 or 6 guys from the burger stand all throwing burgers. Like,
And people just
There
like
was-
busting them open and eating
Yeah.
them right there?
yeah, oh for sure, for sure. And then he's like on the mic. He's like, if you caught a cheeseburger, count your blessings. He's like, because I hear they're the best burgers that there ever have been. He's like, or so I've been told. You know, just typical Andy, just up there being a cheese ball.
And you guys didn't catch a burger?
No.
I almost
No.
caught 2. I almost
Almost
caught
caught
2 of 'em.
2.
Yeah, I was very
How do you
upset.
almost catch 2? They like went into your hand
They
and
landed
came out
in
of
my hand and then like passed through them. And people behind me got I was so upset 2 times. The
You're
guy
like,
was
"I'm
like
starving."
eyeballing me from the stage. He saw me, the 6'2" guy way back there. He's gonna get me. Threw it right to me, beeline, and Mr. Butterfingers here could not
Yeah,
execute.
turns out half Alaskans can't catch.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, Plea's great. So I think, I mean, the show they put on when we saw him in Portland was unreal, so I can't imagine what it's like when at Furnace Fest.
So
How many
so
stage
he-
dives did they do?
Over
on the
100.
Malevolent?
So he at the start of the show, Andy said he wanted 500 stage dives,
Dude, let's
Uh,
go.
It's a bit
and
ridiculous.
so there were a bunch, of stage dives, but then of course they end the show with Malevolence, right? And Andy at the front of at the start of the Malevolence is like, I want 100 stage dives during this song, 100 stage dives. Well, so I wound up looking it up and watching the YouTube video, but there's somebody who recorded all of the show, and he had like his camera mounted on the wall on the side of the stage. So it's like like the camera's not moving around with the crowd and all that. So, but he put a counter, a stage dive counter in the bottom corner, and during that song, which is a 4-minute song, there were 101 stage dives.
Wow.
That's awesome.
It was a lot. So
Mostly
I don't know
onto
what
my
the
face.
total count. Yeah, mostly all right directly into Bobby's face.
Directly
But,
into my head.
It was a lot.
So besides the
Yeah.
2 songs that I've seen that you guys are talking about, how are the other 7 songs?
How was Shiver?
Shiver was wonderful.
good.
Oh, one of my
Heart of a
favorites,
Child
man.
was really good.
Yes. Yeah.
Heart of a
He-
Child was good. Yeah.
He talked about writing Heart of a Child because Aaron, their drummer, told him he wanted him to write a happier song. And he talked about being angry, and he was angry at everything and how it's not worth being angry. So that was kind of cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't an explicit gospel message, but it was definitely leave your burdens, like it's not worth living life in anger.
Probably the
so that was really
funniest
cool.
thing about Plea for Purging, though, was their merch booth. So, obviously, they're not a touring band anymore, and maybe that's not a true statement if they're really going to play a bunch of different shows this year. But they had like a whole bunch of props and things from old music videos, and like all the leftover T-shirts from tours that they had just left over, like all the random like super small tees, or because Plea for Purging fans aren't known for being the smallest of the metal fans, but
Yeah.
and so it was like, if you buy one of our new merch shirts, you can take one off the random pile for $5, right? And so, but then you start looking at what else is on the table, and it's like they've got the alien mask from one of their music videos. I think it's for Heart of a Child. Like they got the alien head, and then I look over and it's Aaron, the drummer, who's up there like trying to sell us merch. And I look over, it's like, wait, what's in that Ziploc over there? And he's like, oh, this is the Ziploc. This is all my dreadlocks from when I used to have dreadlocks.
What?
And so he had brought his dreadlocks,
It was weird.
and they were in a Ziploc. And he's like, "Listen, I'm telling you, everything's for sale. Name a price. Like
Everything's
sell,
for
sell,
sale.
It was.
I'm selling my dreadlocks." And so like they were selling old posters. Like they had like one of their old show banners, like that you'd hang up behind the band. Like you could buy that from their merch booth, along with the dreadlock.
Did you get a dreadlock?
No, I did not.
Oh,
I did
shoot,
not.
man. That would have been
I bought
sick.
I bought a T-shirt, but not a dreadlock. It was just funny because they're such goofy dudes that it was a lot of fun.
I'm mostly offended that you guys had to find out today that I wasn't at Plea.
I knew.
I knew you went to Ghoti Hook.
Oh.
You told me you were
Why are you
going
acting
to Ghoti
so
Hook.
surprised?
No, they just made fun of you constantly.
I'm just disappointed.
Well, Tim
I'm
didn't
not
know
angry.
because
I'm just disappointed.
Tim just showed up late from the car. He's like, "Oh, it's Plea time. I better shut the car off."
Tyler and I are
Game time, boys.
I was with Tyler.
Okay, so wrapping this up, getting closer to the pinnacle, right? Like, did you guys go to As Cities Burn?
We
Yeah,
did.
it was,
I mean,
in my opinion, a giant disappointment.
what?
Yeah, because they played nothing from their first album, which
Except for that intro teaser track.
with
Yeah.
0.3 seconds of
Yeah.
one song.
So this, Tyler, this is like their last show,
Yeah.
right? They're not going to be a band anymore. So,
So why wouldn't they do the whole
right?
shebang?
So their intro thing was like this 3-minute long sampler of like a song
A
or two
radio
from
dial.
every album.
Oh.
That kind of just builds into what they're doing, and so it's like you got all this hype. Ooh, we might actually get to hear a song we really like, and
And you didn't.
no.
They played They Fixed It.
Right.
I
they
knew that
played-
song.
They
Yeah.
played a lot of songs that you knew, but it wasn't. But it came across as a show that was going to be like a farewell to As Cities Burn, right?
Yeah.
And I loved those guys. But like Lunsford wasn't there to play the drums. It was some other guy. Like the only guy that was there was, I can't remember his name, the main brother, or the emo brother, I call him. So Big Brother the Screamer isn't there, right? They didn't play any of the hard stuff, any of the old stuff. And then to close the set, they're like, or they just play a song and they're like, "Oh, that's the last song we're going to ever play as Cities Burn." And
Jeez.
the whole place is like, "Wait, what?" Like, they didn't announce this is their last song. They're like, that was the last song we're ever going to play.
they announced it before.
As Cities Burn. No, they said it afterwards.
Yeah, they had a whole video and all this before Furnace Fest started.
I know, but I know that
Oh,
they
the
said it was
set
going to be their
itself?
last. So they
Mm.
said it was going to be their last show, but they played a song and then they just said, "Okay, that was the last song we're going to play."
That's
as
it.
Cities
Peace,
Burn."
guys.
And the song
And
was
we're
"This
like-
Is It," right?
Right,
Yeah.
this is it. And we're like, wait, hold on. Like that clearly wasn't the last song of the set. And they're like, okay, from this point forward, we're going to be known as, and I've already forgotten the name of the band that they're turning
Only
themselves
Passenger?
into. My Only
Yeah.
Passenger. That sounds right. And so now we're going to play our first song as My Only Passenger, and it's called My Only Passenger. And then they played it, and they're like, okay, thanks everybody. Bye.
Peace. Yep.
And we're like, wait,
What?
So,
what?
wait.
And so, yeah, no, that's how it happened. It's like, I'm really
That's
confused.
literally
I
it,
pictured,
yeah.
I
They
pictured
didn't play
screaming.
Bloodsucker Part 2. Like,
Yeah, I wanted to play
Nothing.
some "Son, I Loved You at Your Darkest," yell at my friends, and then play the Widow and cry, and then go home. But that's not what it was.
Wow.
Tim, what are your thoughts? You're like over there kind of stewing.
Tim's a big, yeah, you're a big fan. So
I'm a moderate fan. So my wife is a big fan. So I kind of fan vicariously through my wife. So
Vicariously fan. Okay.
vicariously fanned. And she watched the live stream as it was happening, and she was supportive through it and is excited for their new venture. But yeah, I agree with Bobby in the sentiment of, yeah, it just felt kind of like, yeah, it wasn't like, you see these bands or one of your other favorite bands, their farewell goodbye tour, and it's much more exciting and kind of hyped up, and it wasn't that at all. It It wasn't exciting or hyped up. It was just kind of like...
It's like they built the hype, but there wasn't any hype from the band, almost. Yeah, like...
Yeah, it felt more sad, like a departure from...
Yeah. Like a funeral.
Who you've known us to be. Yeah.
It was weird.
So,
but
yeah. But I met the guy afterwards, and he's a nice guy. So
was he sad?
No.
Because he sounded sad on stage.
Yeah, I don't know.
So this disappointment or whatever, like Bobby just said, well, the night wasn't over because you got Haste today. Was that your next show?
I did prior to As Cities Burn. I did watch the Insyderz because, like I said, I am a ska fan. If you could name all the list of Christian ska bands from the 2000s, the Insyderz would not
all
be
five
the top
of
of my list. Right, they would be 5 of 5 if you were gonna rank them for me. But
so the W's is first.
The W's was first.
Oh man, okay, I forgot about the W's. Maybe they're 5 out of 5. Yeah, maybe they're 5 out of 5. But no, so I went and watched them.
The devil is bad.
You are the devil, and the devil is bad.
You are the devil, and the devil is bad. Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
You guys
that's
aren't
a true
singing this in the
statement,
van.
That's a true statement, though. But no, I went and watched them, and they were way better than I expected them to be. Like, it was fun. I think Gary
they
was
did
there
great.
for,
I liked
half of it.
Yeah, I liked it.
Like, they were fun. It's not my favorite ska band in the world, but it was really nice to see a ska band again. Like, last year was Five Iron Frenzy. Was it as good as Five Iron? Of course not. But one of the things that was nice is this. I don't know maybe I don't know if you'd say the same thing, Gary, but the sound mixing across the board was way better this year. I thought, and you could actually watch a punk ska band and hear all of the instruments this year. So I feel like I was sad that it wasn't Five Iron this year because it was actually mixed properly. But they were fun. It was a really good show, and I feel like I couldn't talk about Furnace Fest and at least give one ska shout out. Like, it was a good time. You still saw just as many kids skanking in the circle pit as you did.
That's why ska's not popular anymore, because you have to skank to listen to ska.
Yep. It's worth it.
Okay, so let's get out of this ska stuff right now, and let's finish with something that I know I can't wait to hear about. Haste today.
And that's personal. We're not going to tell you. Thanks for having us, Tyler.
Yep.
No. Okay. Gary's been kind of trying to, like, not going to tell me.
I've been biting my tongue.
That's podcast talk. That's podcast talk. So I just need to hear Haste today in all its glory. What was it like? You guys rallied back. You mustered the energy. You're there for Haste today. How was it?
Who's going first?
It was amazing. I'll go first. I don't care.
Bobby, have you seen Haste Today in the past?
No, I've never seen Haste Today, but I was a huge When Everything Falls guy. That album was phenomenal, and it was kind of like a staple for me because it was one of the first like super duper heavy albums that I got. And then when Jimmy stepped down and the new guy came on, I was like, they're not the same. They shouldn't even be called Haste Today. And so I kind of stopped listening to them. Like
You're
a lot
one of
people.
those people.
I was one of those guys, to my detriment. But I've kind of sprinkled them back in and realized like they're actually really good and probably better musically than they were in their first two albums. So it was pretty phenomenal. And then they brought Jimmy on stage to sing a few songs,
cool.
American Love and When Everything Falls.
And Blue 42.
And Blue 42, yeah. And that was it was incredible. And the crowd, really, like the music was phenomenal. The crowd was absolutely insane. Like I've never been to a more dangerous, a dangerous concert than that.
Really?
Yeah. As far as pit goes, like the most intense pit I've ever been in was Maylene and the Sons of Disaster at Furnace Fest 22. But this Haste Today show was absolutely a close second. Like it was rough. Like it was, people were into it. It was insane. It was awesome. people went nuts, and it was incredible. I never thought, I think I said it the day before, because like Gary said, we would listen to music of who was playing the next day on the way home or on the way back to the hotel. And I played American Loves, like, I'm going to listen to the song because I know they're not going to play it.
Oh.
And Gary's like, yeah, you're probably right. Like, they're not going to play it. So then they start it, and I fangirled for sure. Like, I squealed like a little kid and ran into the pit. And, well, no, I didn't. The pit, like, went nuts. And Gary and I were both trying to record that song. And I had to give up halfway through.
I did pretty good.
He held on.
Gary's
but,
video's good.
There's a few times I was like getting pulled and people like running through me, and I'm like, stop! I have to hold my phone up for Tyler. This is for Tyler.
I really want Gary to tell the story about his moshing experience in Haste today, though, and the fact that there was a pretty big mosh party foul that happened to Gary.
What happened?
I was violated.
He was.
I don't know what song it was. But it had to be
touched
post
you.
Jimmy Ryan. But a guy in the mosh pit, he was such a jerk, dude, the whole time. I don't know. I don't know what his deal was, but he'd find the people on the edge of the pit and just like shove them. He'd punch people.
Really?
He was like hardcore dancing. He was crowd killing, right?
Yeah.
Like no one liked him. Every time he came near us, like we always had to keep one eye on him and one eye on the stage. Yeah. And like, oh, he was such a jerk. But he went around one time. Probably for Blue 42 because I blacked out around that time. But he grabbed my beard.
Oh shoot!
And yanked my head. And so I'm like, boop, in the pit.
Grabbed you by the beard. We've all thought about it, but we've never done it. You can't let the intrusive thoughts win, dude. Like,
so in Spokane, right at the knitting factory here, I've had people punch at my beard just to like, yeah, just don't hit my neck, but. This dude grabbed me, and it just made me so angry.
Yeah, that's messed up. That is a pit party foul.
Yeah, so I tried my best to snap out of the rage and like just go to the front since I'm already in the pit.
Yeah.
So I just went to the front, found Trey from Discord, and I'm like, hey, and sang along to. After that song they took a break for Jimmy Ryan, I think, and they played Chorus of Angels.
So good,
cool.
Which we in the car the night before, they're like, they're never gonna play this song.
Yep.
Pretty much everything we said they're never going to play, they played. Like, it was nuts. But so I had a great time, like, for the last 3 songs, front, center, kind of like Holyname style, just right there. A lot of people, though, like, hitting and pulling, and, dude, it was sweaty and nasty and hard to breathe. And, like I actually had to, like, stick my elbows out and the person in front of me so that I could breathe because it was just being pressed too hard. But, yeah, it was a great time. Yeah, besides the dude pulling on my beard.
Yeah, I just remember we found Gary because we all got separated, right? And like we find Gary later, and he's like, he's so mad. He's like, dude, this guy, he just grabbed my beard and yanked. And like, I chased him down until I wanted to fight him, but
I couldn't catch him. Like he was in the circle pit. Yeah, I didn't do anything.
He was sneaky.
I came back though. Yeah.
And then he was on your flight home.
He wasn't on my flight home. I did see him at the airport, though. Oh. And I was like, he's going to the bathroom. I might just have to also go
surprise
to the bathroom.
him in the bathroom.
What are you going to do to him there, Gary?
Drop kick him?
I'm peeing on this guy.
Get it on his shoe.
I got you where I want you, boy.
I got him. Got him.
So, Tim, what did you think, though? Because you've never really heard Haste Today except in the van before, right?
Yeah, it was violent. That's they're really good. They're very good musicians musically. Like I really enjoyed what they were doing, but I was so distracted by all the violence that was going on in the pit. and yeah, I was kind of taken aback that just these what do we call them, the pit guards or the guys,
pit bosses.
Yeah, pit bosses just came out of the woodworks, and there's like 5 of them who were just constantly thrashing around.
Shirtless. They were all shirtless.
Dude. Yeah.
Super hairy, I presume.
Weird.
No, they're like shaved.
Oh,
smooth
shaved.
and slick,
like oil.
Wet seals.
But the shed was so packed that they couldn't make space for the pit. So like people were just, you had to be in the pit because there's not enough room for one.
Yeah.
Would this have been solved if they were main staged?
Probably.
Yeah.
There'd be multiple pits kind of thing. But nobody
But
wanted
it
that.
also would have ruined it.
Yeah,
Like,
it needed to
For
be in
sure.
the shed for sure. But yeah, no, it was good.
It was cool seeing Jimmy Ryan like shoving people off the stage because they're like in his way.
Yeah, I was gonna say we ran into and talked with what I think is JD from
JP?
Flesh Killer, or JP, yeah, JP from Flesh Killer
Yeah, Flesh Kill.
You're right.
Flesh
Clothing
Kill
company.
Apparel. Yeah, and he got up on stage at one point, and Jimmy literally like pushed him back into a monitor, and he tripped and fell over on stage, like backwards onto the stage.
Rolled up to the drummer, like
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So like
boy.
Jimmy was not messing around. Like he was just shoving people back into the crowd because they kind of lost control a little bit. Like people would get up there and like try and like sing along or dance on stage, and Jimmy was not having it. He was just like,
Yeah.
nope, shoving
You
people.
just see him,
back
he like
in.
shoving
It was-
people 10 people deep out,
Yeah,
out
it
into the
was-
crowd. It's like, geez,
It
that
was,
kid went
it
launched.
was great. Imagine if he
Dang.
didn't have a hurt, bruised back. Like people would have hit the ceiling. Like
Well, and they're like, yeah, and like that's probably
Yeah.
why they were probably touching him and it was hurting, and he's like, get off of me, boom.
yeah,
He
But,
was
that
the
was
pit
great.
boss.
So it was great seeing Jimmy do his old stuff though, and but I think Stephen Keach nailed it. His singing and his screaming was just like the day he quit, like when we
Yeah.
saw them,
Yeah.
doing all the songs that they do. Like they did stuff from Pressure the Hinges, a lot from Attack of the Wolf King. They did like their slow song.
White as snow?
No, like the place that most deny.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So Tyler and I did an episode recently on that album, Attack of the Wolf King, and so hearing like us breaking down, like learning the lyrics and figuring out what they're all about, it's really cool hearing them play like lyrically some of their most Christian songs.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was just really, really, really cool. I had a great time. Part of me wishes I didn't record so much, and part of me wishes I recorded the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
But because once I got in the pit for like those last 3 or 4 songs, like it was just too much fun, and it was a blast.
That's so cool. Well, yeah, I can't even imagine the moment when Jimmy comes on stage and like you knew it was going to happen because Trenches is there, like, right? You knew that kind of back
And
of
he
your
said
mind.
he was going to.
Said he was going to.
I figured one song, When Everything Falls, right?
yeah.
That's what I
what I
figured.
thought.
So he came out on the stage, right, and said this thing about how like the day he quit the band, this became his favorite band or whatever. So he he's like, you guys want to hear some old stuff? And I just yelled American Love, and he's like, who guessed it? And I was like, no way, they're gonna do American Love.
Dude,
But
that singing part
yeah, everyone was singing along, dude.
in the middle, never should have let you go. Like, that would give me chills, man.
The
Like,
night before, Cecil and I are singing that in the van. Everyone else is like,
Yeah.
what are these guys doing?
dude. And that's just the pit. No one's moving. No one's moshing. Just walking around. And then all of a sudden it kicks back in. And it just had to be just disgusting. You
Yes.
know? Woo.
There were
That's
murders
about the
in the
time
building.
I gave up recording.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, not gonna work.
Well, that's cool. You guys have any other things you want to add about Furnace Fest or bands that we didn't talk about or anything like that?
Already got my tickets for next year, so I'm ready.
Woohoo.
That's what Gary said. He already has his
I
tickets
bought my
too.
ticket for next year.
Did you?
Yeah, because the tier 1 pricing came out and it's like 180. So I bought mine in like February of this year or something. Like way too late, and it was like $480 after all the service fees and taxes. So like I paid literally half price right now if I go, and if I don't, I'll just sell it for what I paid for it, whatever.
Yeah, that's basically what I
Yep.
said.
Yeah, it's still a year away.
I'm definitely going.
Yeah, so something that was really cool. So I only knew you guys for like 4 days by the time I left, but I felt like I got to know you guys really well and became good buddies.
Agreed.
Aw,
Yeah.
that's so cute.
Yeah, and we always go up to booths and we're all like, white dudes with red hair and like, you guys brothers.
Yeah.
It's like, yes.
Yep.
I only knew him
Yeah.
3 days ago. But
You
that was
guys, yeah. Well, I mean, right now, just in my view, I look at Gary, Bobby, and Tim. I'm like, holy cow, they are.
Basically, yeah.
I can't really see you, Cecil.
Yeah,
Cecil's got a lot of tattoos, and
I do have a lot of tattoos.
he's adopted.
Adopted.
I'm the adopted. Because
Oh.
I'm like short.
I thought you were saying he actually was. I was like, jeez, bro. You can't just say that.
No, I'm the short, chubby, tattooed one.
Dude, I'm short and chubby, and I have a tattoo too, so hey.
Tattoo.
And hopefully next year we can avoid all getting sick.
Just start getting tattoos, because the tattooed one of the group did not get COVID. So
I'm the
I'll
second
take that.
most tattooed, and I got COVID.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm playing.
But you started it.
Okay,
so.
hang on.
You were.
There seriously, people started posting their positive test results. There's probably 500 people from the festival that had COVID.
You got
Oh my gosh,
500
I
people
didn't-
sick?
I'm out of here. There's no possible way.
Weird flex, Bobby. That's
amount of-
weird.
The amount
Very
of
weird
sweaty
flex.
people that I touched, it's possible we got it from them.
Just went to every outhouse, just licking
my
the handle
gosh,
of every
that's
outhouse door.
disgusting.
Well, you do the math.
Take that.
If you do the math, it takes 3 days to incubate a sickness. So you would have had to, if you got sick on Saturday, you would have had to have gotten sick, contracted it prior to us going there. So, but that's just
poor
like
Tim
my
had it.
non-scientific math.
Tim.
Poor Tim had it the whole drive
Tim
back.
was
the whole drive
poor
back
guy.
on
Dude, it's so
like 8 hours in the back of the van. Like Tim
Oh.
was miserable.
listening
And he's like,
to because Cecil and Bobby had
What song is that, Tim?
controls on the music. Yeah,
Tim's,
Oh.
yeah, we didn't talk about the depression that was Extol, but I literally have an Extol tattoo, but that's how big of a fangirl I am. But here's hoping for 2024. But
Absolutely.
yeah, poor Tim. He was like apologizing by the time we make it back to Arkansas. He's like, "Sorry, I was such a whiner." It's like, dude, you're sick.
That was
Like
so
you're
funny.
legitimately sick. Like it's okay. Like he had a rough go on the way back, but it's worth it. It's well worth it.
so
Yeah.
worth it. Yeah, it was so fun.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up our conversation. Thanks, you guys, for joining us. We really appreciate it, and maybe next year I can make it happen. I really want to, so.
Dude,
I'd really like to
it's
see you
worth
guys.
it.
Tyler.
It's worth it.
And it's the last year they're doing it, supposedly.
Gotta do it. All right,
If Gary
boys.
backs out, just take his ticket.
I'm thinking I'd only go if Gary goes. Like
No,
we'd
just
have
go
to
hop
together.
down to this place in Arkansas. I know these guys. I'll hook you up.
Yeah. Bentonville.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming on. See you
Thanks
later.
for having us.
Yeah.
So that is a wrap for our Furnace Fest 2023 talk. It was actually really great meeting so many of our listeners at the festival. Thank you for reaching out and wanting to talk, even just coming up and saying hi. It was super awesome. And be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Follow our podcast on streaming services. Hit the follow button on Spotify. And please leave a review if that is an option. We also have a Discord filled with people just like Bobby and Cecil and Tim. So come join the conversation and be part of our little community on there. And as always, thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening.